All right, second question. What are the most common stumbling blocks students encounter? Do you have any advice to avoid these? We'll start with Dr. Garcia.
Getting started with their project practicum is a common stumbling block for students. Locating, at least I believe, in my experience with the students. Um, Also, in terms of advice, talk with your academic advisors. Use your classes, specifically program evaluation, for example, as a way to start talking with potential community partners for your project practicum. Also, use your elective courses as a way to start thinking of potential topics for your projects. So that would be my advice to that common stumbling block that I see.
Awesome, thank you. And Dr. Johnson, do you have anything to add to that question?
Yeah, I think that probably the most common stumbling block for students is that many of our students are working full time and managing families, and they're juggling a lot of activities. And it might have been a while since they've been in school, so they may understandably not always prioritize the courses and or not recognize that different faculty have different approaches to classes. And so really looking at the syllabi for the classes, making sure that when the week starts and when the week ends and what you're expected to do to be successful, it really does vary from class to class. And recognize that when things happen in the world of other agendas and responsibilities, it's really a good idea to be in communication with your faculty. Let them know what's happening. We're adults too, and we want to work with you to be successful. But if we don't know, then we can't be helpful. And then we can only assess you on what you have contributed in Blackboard. So I think increased communication and recognition that it's really going to take some time management to squeeze in these classes with all your other responsibilities is important. And I think this happens less often than it used to, but sometimes people underestimate the time involved in doing well in a graduate course, and they bite off more than they can chew. So, we tell people that 3 classes is considered full-time for graduate school. And you should anticipate spending 10 to 15 hours a week per class. Well, on average. And so if you're adding another 10 to 20 or 30 hours a week to your already probably very busy lifestyle, doing well in 2 classes is going to be challenging, and doing well in 3 classes is probably impossible. So, be realistic about how much time you can devote to your classes, and be in good communication with your faculty so that we can, be helpful in figuring out how to support your success in the program.
Great, thank you. And then Dr. Miller, do you have anything to add?
So the only thing that I have to add really in follow-up to Dr. Garcia's comments are, I would really encourage you to take advantage of your rapport with your academic advisor. Think of them as a mentor. And oh, by the way, I really want to echo what Dr. Johnson said. Faculty members are struggling, well, maybe not struggling, but meeting the challenge of time management as well. So if you come to your advisor with questions or concerns, it won't fall on ears that can't relate to that at all. So I would encourage you to let your advisor in on perhaps some challenges you may be having, or seek out their input when you're looking for ideas for a project practicum. I would encourage you to really access their expertise.
Great, awesome, thank you. And then our third question for faculty, how to make the most of the program. give you a couple of seconds to think of your answer, but we'll start with Dr. Garcia.
Well, I just announced a while ago that we need committee members in our MPH program. I think that's one of the ways you can make the most of the program. Actually, you can make a big impact in our program because a lot of the decisions that we make are coming from the recommendations of the committee or committees. Secondly, make sure to regularly schedule an appointment with your advisor. So at least, once per semester or at the very least once each year. I think it's very important to update your advisors in terms of the classes you want to take and any sort of challenges you may have. So those things could be addressed. So those are some of the things I can think of.
Yeah, great, thank you. Dr. Johnson, do you have anything to add to that question?
Yeah, I think I really appreciate that you made the effort to orient people to MPH home base. And yes, if someone's not connected, that's a really important communication avenue. And so it's good for us to know that that isn't the case, because we post a lot of announcements on MPH home base for student opportunities for research, for service, for meetings. And so if you can fit some of those things into your schedule, I think it's really helpful. For those of you who are active on social media, we have a Facebook page that also posts opportunities to get involved. When people finish our program, they often, in their acknowledgments, not only thank their family, who obviously are kind of going through this graduate school journey with you together, but they often thank their study buddies too. And I know that many students in our program have informally created study groups around their classes. Some classes require group activity, but not all do. But I know that people who once they know who's in the class and they try to figure out, can we get together to study together? Can we work together? Can we meet for coffee or drinks or something? And so study buddies, I think, have been a big resource for people. And I encourage you, particularly those who want to have more contact with students, to figure out a way to do that. Because I say this all the time, and I really do believe it. I think our students are a wonderful asset of the program because we have, in general, a mature group of highly committed mid-career professionals and or early career with a big passion for public health. And there's so many opportunities to learn from each other. So take advantage of the opportunities that come up on announcements and social media to work with faculty, and consider connecting with your fellow students outside of class, because we have a lot to learn from each other.
Great, thank you, Dr. Johnson. And then Dr. Miller.
So I've been reflecting on this a little bit. Thank you for sending out the agenda early, Gail. One of the things that, and I'll just say it's exactly what Dr. Johnson said. I believe in my own experience in graduate school that I learned a lot from faculty, but I also learned a lot from my colleagues that were in the same classes. And those informal networks are not only valuable during your coursework, but I would purport that they're valuable when you finish the program as well. So no matter what the venue, I would really encourage you to reach out to other students.
Great, thank you, Dr. Miller. Oh, question 4. What is one program-specific resource you can share?